see Chris everywhere I go to cover a game or do whatever, and he would just always nod. I nod at him. So I finally asked, I said, what school is this that dude coach at? He said, man, he in high school. So some people that I'm saying are just ahead of the curve. And,
yes, sir.
And you were one of those guys also that, like Dan used to always tell me, he's going to be an outstanding, he's going to be a great coach. He's going to be, you just watch me. And I'm like, okay. And sure enough, just matriculate on that way. I mean, now I know, Dan, you can tell people yourself your relationship or you would, you and Dorothy's relationship or whoever you want to.
Right.
But with some people that just go into some of the people that inspire you or some of your mentors coming up, because I'd like to share that with our listening audience.
So I like to say that I'm the last of the old school. My dad, Stanford Bailey, he was at Marshall. My mother went to Marshall. Whole family is from the West Side. And so like literally I grew up, and Dan is my godfather, but, people like Lamar Mundane, I call like uncle, the greats like, Johnson McGee and Ilya McGee. Yes, sir. Ilya.
Wow, I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Yes, sir. Ilya, and Ilya actually passed away about a year and a half ago. But Ilya's brother Willie actually played with LeBron James. He was one of those five. And Ilya, so just watching those guys. My dad and them playing basketball all the time at, the Southside Y or, at the Golden Dome, just, being inundated with all of those individuals, the late, great Nate Bird that just passed away.
That's what I could not think of. I'm so glad because I referenced John L. Evans.
Yes.
I was somebody, another great Chicago player, Nate Bird, passed recently, and things of that nature. So I'm so glad that you referenced that.
Absolutely, and
because I'm a legend on the West Side.
Legend, and thank you for mentioning Jay, as I call him, a great mentor to me. As you mentioned, Chris Head, John L. Evans, and we'll get into it. But I think one of the problems with basketball in today's climate is that the people that got it don't want to give it. And people like Chris Head, John L. Evans, they got it and they gave it. And I was on the receiving end, people like, Mr. Henry, Coach Stanton, Coach Cox, like, Pittman, just being on the receiving end of listening to those guys, and they were willing, Mr. Redmond, willing to just teach and give information. And if you sit at the feet of some of these guys, and Clyde, I don't want to take over, but if any young coaches listening, if they can sit at the feet of some of these more experienced coaches and just learn from them, I would listen to Mr. Cox and Mr. Henry sometime doing the book at some of these games, just saying things that should happen, and just be a student of the game. But I thank you for mentioning John L, because he was definitely one of those. Every time that he saw me, he had a positive word, and genuinely cared about how I was doing. And so prayers definitely out to the Carver family, and to his family as well.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know Bird as well. I mean, we were cordial, but so far, with the Legends thing, and the whole time we all get together and chop it up and things of that nature. I say, but I'm telling you, man, John L. I talk to John L. At least maybe once or twice a week. He calling and checking on me. So when it just hit me, You know, that just floored me. But
Yeah.
but hey, we got a caller. We got a caller coming in. Matter of fact, we got a couple of calls. Hold on, we're gonna take them in order. Let's go ahead with Steve Alexander. Steve, you're back, man. Love to have you because you know everybody, you know everything. So I mean, just add on to this. Come on in.
there were. You gotta watch Carvel. He won't take over the program. But the people that you mentioned that were in his life are some great people, and Dorothy Gators needs her own wing of Hall of Fame thing. But
absolutely,
Carvel does besides the fact that I left the games that he played in, but he does a podcast and a Facebook Live virtually every day while he's on lunch at school.
Right.
And he's one of the most positive guys that I've met in this business. I don't know if you, and I hope you do, remember Dr. Larry Hawk.
Oh, for sure.
That is who Carvel reminds me of.
Well, hey, wait, come on now. Hey, if you can say that, and I'm not saying that in doubt, because like I said, I've had several people that I respect immensely speak in glowing terms, you know, about Carvel. So, but I mean, that's about as high a praise as you can get when you're talking to the legendary, one of the greatest coaches in the history of the state of Illinois, you know, Larry Hall. You know,
and he became a mentor of mine.
Okay.
Even with me being in what I was doing in the officiating, the signing business, and whenever I would have a problem, I would go to him about it. I've never ever heard him say anything negative. He was always willing to work it out. Well, and that's the quality that Carvel had.
Man.
And I'm very proud to be a longtime friend with. You know, I was warned that you were going to be interviewed. I said, no, I know him real well. Unfortunately, I never had an opportunity to give him a technical foul.
Hey, you know what, Carvel, if you can live past his sarcasm, then you all right with me.
No, hey, listen.
He is one of the most shrewdest, sarcastic individuals that you will ever see. He does it so smoothly. You be thinking he be giving you a compliment.
Hey.
He want to act like that's a badge of honor for you.
Hey, Clyde, man, I say all the time, I tell people all the time, first of all, Steve is another one of those guys. When Steve was in the public league, when I was at Hyde Park, and, you know, he would do, you know, some of our lower level games, or he would do some of the varsity games, and we took our team. I used to always take my teams at Hyde Park to two schools in the suburbs, HF and Thornwood, because I wanted them to see what the facilities was like in those environments. And let's get off Stony Island. And I'm
telling you, man, that was the one thing that I really enjoyed as things began to open up and more public league teams began to explore out. We go back to the Morris shootout. I don't know if you've made the Morris shootout.
Yep.
Or the what was the other one, Steve? It was the Morris shootout.
That was down in Grove.
Yeah, that's right. There you go. The Centurion Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of started. They kind of started all, and then it branched out, and then after that, AAU came in and things like that. Hey, Steve, we got to keep it moving, man. Always, man. Like I said, man, I really love you, my brother.
Steve, man. I appreciate you, my brother. Love you, man.
All right now. Hey, that's a Hall of Famer himself.
Yes, sir. Hall of Famer. Through and through.
Steve Allen, Dunbar alum extraordinaire. I'm surprised he didn't sneak that one in there.
Yes, sir.
But let's go ahead. We have another call, and his name has been mentioned, like I said, like a big brother to me, I call him Hall, but everybody else go to him by his real name, which is, you talk about Hall of Famer, you talking about great coach. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. My next guest was the first public league coach that took a team straight downstate in 1970 and 72. He was city champion straight on down. Then he decided he wanted to go ahead and take his act on the college coaches level, but he's been one of these people that has left his imprint on everything he's touched, in the city of in the state of Illinois. Come on, Hall, Dan Davis.
I paid Clyde to say that.
Hey, you ain't had to tell nobody, man. I wasn't gonna say nothing. I wasn't gonna say nothing.
Big money for that.
Hey, I take a round at Bolingbrook. How's that? I'll take my first round when I get back, and I said May 1st is my target date. I'm gonna do what I can. That's the gate I'm choosing to go ahead on and say, all right, see what you can do, boy. But anyway, Dan, give it to us, man. I mean, because like I said, you mentored this young guy. This guy, I can't say young guy anymore, but I mean, so you mentored this guy and basically put them pearls on him. You know, give your spiel on it.
Well, Carvel was a mentee of mine, and I've been knowing him for, because his father was a very good friend of mine. Matter of fact, Stan, his father, and I grew up together over in Delano Playground, and Stan was a nomad, and that was the look he had in the neighborhood. And, and basketball was, where we were, basketball was the thing.
Well, hey, was that nomad like equivalent to like the junior trotters on that level?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, y'all had some nice little programs going on here.
And I can't even remember losing a game, but Bradley Green, another brother who played for Parker, tremendous ball player, he called me and told me, Dan, you said that the Nomads never lost. We got you at Maryland one summer. And he described it to me. And step by step, he was right. But anyway, I called to talk about Carvel.
Hey, Carvel, hold on a minute. Carvel, you see how we go back to 50, 40, 50 years? It don't matter. Them wounds are hard to heal.
Yeah.
That's the fun part about relationships. And I wish these kids understood and learned this, man. These relationships go back from grade school to high school to college.
Yep.
Hey, but go ahead, Dan. Tell us, go ahead and expound on Carvel.
I mentored Carvel, from the time he could understand what I was talking about. And he was one of the people that picked up what you would try to work with him on. He picked it up and put his own rap on it.
Okay.
And, I remember coming to, when he was coaching at Malcolm X, I remember coming over and seeing his team, and I was sitting up in the stands. I wanted to sit up high so I could see what he was doing. And I said, oh my goodness, damn. Carvel took the little stuff I taught him, and he had taken it to another level.
Man, that's high praise, because you got it from Texas winning.
That's mine. Dr. John McClendon.
The Dr. John McClendon, man, Texas winners. Now you got and Carvel. I mean, that's a heck of a tree, Carvel.
Yeah, I'm serious. I taught him almost everything I knew, and he put his own spin on it. And I said, "Oh my God, this boy is on his way."
Hey man, that's some high praise, because like I said, I sit right there with you for I don't know how many years. Matter of fact, they call it the Clyde Travis rule. They made me stop coaching because they say that was an unfair advantage. But all of a sudden, Kennedy King being in the newspaper, nobody else was.
Kennedy used badly at Kennedy King because I was a little bit too hungry with the players, and you would you knew basketball, and you were kind of like, you babied him a little bit.
Yeah, well, you were crazy. Hey, Carvel, how do you take yourself from Dan to the coaching? I say one of the coaching genius minds of in Chicago, and anywhere he's gone, he's left that imprint. What wrinkles did you take and expound on that? Because all he used to do is come back and kind of brag. And as a matter of fact, a lot of people you say what an outstanding coach you were, and what did you actually learn from Dan, if you could frame it the way you wanted it to help you go ahead on and do something, like you said, and put your spin on it?
Well, first of all, I would say the coach that I still am, not the coach that I was, but the coach
right out of my mouth, Carmel.
that I am. So what I learned from a plethora of people, my dad, and I mentioned a lot of others earlier, but Dan, you have to understand, like I literally grew up in Malcolm X gym. So that was a dream job to me when I got it. And so it meant something different because we were going to, again, I mentioned, Reese Carter, and just understanding the legacy that those guys set before us, Otis Clay and Grapes was the men's coach. And at that time, Matthew Pepper, who is now Matthew Muhammad, he was the women's coach. And so Dan was the AD. And so I'm going from NYSB to basketball practice, like watching them, and Grapes having his players lift 100-pound dumbbells. And so the one thing that I got was that not only did you have to be intelligent, but you can't play basketball if you're not in shape.
Right.
And so if it's the 3-on-3, John McClendon, full court, the ball don't touch the ground, like things that I saw these individuals doing with adults. And you have to understand at that time, when Dan was the AD at Malcolm X and they traveled the country, like they were a traveling road show, and they beat anybody that wanted to put their gym shoes on. And it was just a mindset. And so as I got older and, learning from Coach Jimmy Collins, God rest his soul, and Coach John Pagatti at South Suburban, just all of those things, and really understanding the game of basketball, and me understanding people, because I've always been the underdog. And so me just really understanding people and understanding basketball just a little bit better, I thought, than most, because I could make it practical and I could translate that basketball scenario into a life scenario.
That's a great thought process.
That's helped me, like just carry it out. And I remember I called Dan one year. I was at Notre Dame's basketball camp, and I had to get my coaching philosophy together. And Dan told me, he said, Carvel, you already do it. He said it's academics, it's athletics, and it's citizenship. And he said, those are the three things that you do already, because you help them learn the game of basketball, become better people, and become better citizens. And that's always been my mantra, Clyde.
Well, that's funny. Hey, Jay, and that's funny because we mentioned one player, and I'll tell you right now, Dan took a guy that I don't care who you ask. Prior to him coming to Dan, he was a afterthought, and people didn't think he could play dead in a cowboy movie. This guy later became the leading scorer
in the nation,
JUCO scorer in the nation.
And
I laugh about this with Dan. Dan was going to run him out the gym. And he wasn't going to cut him. He wasn't going to cut him. And Dan told me, Dan didn't think in this he could play. And he said, but I'm not going to cut him, but I'm going to run him out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Maurice Carter came to me and said, Coach, please tell me what I got to do to make this team. I said, persevere. He said, well, what do you mean? I said, don't quit.
Mm-hmm.
He said, then come in, and we went in. I'm telling me, I shot thousands of jump shots with Maurice in the morning, in the evening. Then Dan ran his practices, and he started running, and better players, skill-wise, would drop off. They couldn't take the practice.
Mm-hmm.
And Maurice like, that all we gonna do, Jay? And Maurice actually stayed on, I say almost by default. And by the time it was all over, he beat out Larry Johnson, the great grandmama.
Yep.
For Player of the Year. Because, I mean, he had a motor that I have not seen ever. I mean, to this day, on any level, in terms of the close person I've seen him, they always talk about how Rip Hamilton used to just run, and would never stop. Well, Maurice was that same type play, you know. So I just, you know, when you talk about, hey, Hall, let me go ahead and finish this up with him, man. Appreciate you.
Wait, Clyde. Can I mention one thing? Because to any athlete that's out here listening, or any coaches out here listening, understand two things about the person that's on the call. That's my godfather, Dan Davis. The first thing, the reason that he was the type of coach that he was, that I believe, is because, like me, he had to persevere. So Dan got cut from Marshall his freshman year.
Absolutely.
And he went to Crane, and legend has it, and I was talking to my dad about this on Saturday, but Dan improved so much over the course of 1 year. And so, as you were saying, Clyde, about Reese Carter, so Dan understood that it's possible. Kids nowadays don't want to work. And so they said, legend has it, when Dan went back to Marshall his sophomore year, he gave Marshall everything that they was looking for. Right. And he also led the country, or was second in the country in free throw percentage at Northwestern, behind Lou Alcindor. And if you do your homework, Lou Alcindor is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But what struck me the other day, Clyde, I've always knew that he was second in free throw percentage in the country next to Lou Alcindor. But what puzzled me is that you have to have went to the free throw line a certain number of times to even qualify for that award. So that tells me that when he played, he was always attacking the defense, and he played with a certain type of demeanor. And kids nowadays don't get to the free throw line, and I think that's a travesty.
It's jump shot crazy. I'll tell you something else to add on to that. And this has been the funny part. Can you imagine two teammates being 1 and 2 in the nation in free throws? That's how close it came to Dan being at UCLA.
Yep.
And most people don't know that story.
Yep.
Mama Davis,
most people don't know that John Wooten in his coaching lifetime only visited two people at their home.
Yep.
That's right.
Lou Alcindor and Dan Davis.
You know, hey, so Carver, you got one heck of a mentor.
Legend.
You know, and things that you got. It's nothing like having somebody. But what I really enjoy too, Dan, is how he's taken what you gave him, what you instilled in him. And let's not talk about Larry Lewis, because I know on the defensive end, it wasn't nobody better than Larry. You know what I mean? So you had a lot to pull from two of the greatest players ever to play. You know, in Chicago.
Carvel took it to another level.
And Carvel taking it to another level.
Hey,
you know, and like continued success. Hey, Dan, we're gonna wrap this up, man. Let me go ahead on it. Hey, man, I'll give you a call tomorrow. Okay.
Talk to you, Dan. Thank you for calling in.
Hey, man, that's one of the all-time great legends of Chicago. Dan Davis. Carvel, let's say, man, you got so much stuff, man. Sometimes we get sidetracked, man, and go in, man.
Absolutely.
I had mentioned, but you know, like I said, we know about Malcolm X, we know about Truman, and I wanted to ask you some other questions here.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead, man. You got so many other things that you've been doing. You know, you're president of Bless the Ball. Give us a little rundown of that, and then tell us about a couple of your books that you've written about, man. You know, and kind of condense it as much as you possibly can. But
absolutely,
just go ahead and share with our listening audience. Some of those things.
Absolutely. So, yes, I am the president and founder of Bless the Ball Consulting Group. And so we're offer personal and professional development services to students and staff across the country. And so we offer camps, we offer clinics, coaching clinics, we do leadership, SEL programs in the schools. We're a CPS vendor. We've been a CPS vendor for 6 years. We're a City College vendor as well. We did our first junior college jamboree at South Suburban College this October. We'll do a 2-day next October. So we definitely gotta have you come through, Clyde. We offer PDs for staff, as well as teams, to come in to help students and staff become more effective, more authentic, and more efficient at what they do.
Wow, hold on, Carvel. There's somebody you may do. I hate to say he's a good friend of mine, but anyway, another Hall of Famer, official, one of the greatest pitchers out of Chicago. I'm sure you know the name, Cliff Bailey. Come on, Cliff.
Hey, Clyde, how you doing, man?
What's happening, boy? How you feeling, man?
Hey, man, good to hear you, man. Hey, about you just the other day. Hold your phone call.
Hey, like I tell everybody, 6 up, be 6 down, man. So that's the way I'm rolling. That's the way.
Hey, Carvel, hey, Dan, how you guys doing, man?
Hey, what's up, Cliff?
Dan's off, but so go ahead and share your, give us a look up the pearls on Carvel.
Well, I got when Carvel mentioned that players don't go for free throws. It reminded me of a story when I was refereeing in the ABA, and I was in Detroit with George Gervin, and we were on a flight to Kansas City for the championship game, and George motioned for me to come over there and sit with them, so I did. So one of his players said, ref, when I go to the basket, you guys don't call fouls. So George said, wait a minute. And this was a star player from Michigan. I think his name was Sean Higgins.
Okay, yeah, all right.
And George asked, he said, man, hey, look, is your jump shot like a free throw? He said, no. He said, is your jump shot like a layup? He said, yeah, man. He was real confident because George complimented his jump shot. He said, well, if your jump shot is like a layup, why do you go to the basket? Leave the referee alone. He said, because I tell you, my goal every game was to score 10 baskets and 10 free throws.
Okay.
I'm going to get my 10 baskets, no question. But if I mess with the referees, I'm not going to get my free throws.
Hey, Cliff, I know you've been one of Chicago's all-time greatest. You had to deal with some personalities. Have you ever refereed one of Carvel's games?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. Well, like I said, man.
And with him being the namesake, I was like, how in the world did I miss that?
Yeah, and I was waiting for you all because I said when I saw Bailey, I said, and Carver, if you know Cliff or whatever, that family tree that he has, I'm getting ready to get on. I said, man, don't tell me another one is.
No, well, you know what, Clyde, Cliff has actually been on a couple of my workshops, that we offer parents, and again, just educating in terms of so as a basketball coach, I used to always have Mao and Ruben from high school and college. They would always come and talk to my players before the season, because I would tell them, like, listen, can y'all come talk to my players so that they can learn the rules? Because if we knew the rules and I knew we were in shape better than anybody else, then we can use the rules to our unfair advantage. And so just learning and educating. And so Cliff has blessed us. We've been on for a few hours a couple of times, and Cliff has blessed my audience with just getting them to understand. And like the story that he just told, it's like the wisdom that people have around the game if you just take time to stop, listen, and learn. And as you said earlier, Clyde, you know, you have all these individuals with so much information and so many credentials, you know, and I'm blessed just to have the individuals that called up today, like 3 Hall of Famers. And, you know, so, and they're all much older than me. So I learned from them. And these are the things that now I impart and give back to the schools, the clients, the coaches, the teams that I work with, because I got all this wisdom from all these people. How can you not share it? Does that make sense? You know, so that's why I put it in books. That's why I do, you know, the affirmation books. That's why we offer, you know, the workshops. That's why we added coaching programs. We go into the schools because we're literally on the front line. But the thing that I tell parents all the time, if your kids' coach don't have a coach, like, you need to run as fast as you can and go find another coach. Because like how you were saying with how Dan is to you, how Dan is to me, or what the people that Dan had, like people that Cliff had, we've all learned from other people. I think one of the issues with the game today, a lot of the coaches and definitely a lot of the players, they don't want to learn from nobody because they think they know it all. And that's the travesty. And so we come in to help them learn themselves a little bit better, because the better and it's funny because Dan's son, Aaron Spears, that played at Highland, that played at St. John's, Aaron is on the staff at Proviso East. And I saw Aaron yesterday when they were playing, and I told Aaron the same thing. I said, your job as a coach, even on a freshman level, the same thing that your dad told me, help them become better people. If they become better people, they can become better players. But we got it crossed, and we try to make better players out of better people, and it just don't work like that.
And that's what it all say. Hey, Cliff, thank you so much. We got to wrap this up, boy. It's always good to hear from you. You know you got the number, and anytime you want to chime in, man, we appreciate it.
Yes, sir, Cliff.
I appreciate you guys.
Hey, all right, boy. I'll be seeing you down the road, man. I mean, as soon as this weather breaks, boy, I'll be back in the mix. Thanks, a lot, Cliff. Hey, that was
Thank you, man.
Hey, that was one of Chicago's Hall of Fame official, great official, man. Did so many big time games, downstate, city championship games, or whatever. You know, it's funny, Carvel. I can kind of chime in a little bit on that. I got a call from a young man, probably that I haven't talked to in well over almost 20 years.
Mm.
And out of the clear blue, just text me and just told me thank you.
Mm.
And just from Inglewood, doing exceptionally well in
Yep.
the whole 9 yards. Kind of reinforce what you're talking about right now. I hadn't seen nor talked to this boy. And he just said, man, how much he appreciates some of the stuff that I did, some of the things I made him do, some of the things I exposed him to, and, you know, and his partners. And they were like straight out of Inglewood, man. But it was like, hey, you know, like I said, exposure from the right people. And, you know, another thing is you have this seminar. You have this seminar that's coming up on February 9th?
February 9th. Yes, sir, Clyde. So we are offering actually we're hosting a professional development workshop for athletic directors and dean of students. It's going to be February 9th at Baracco's Pizza, 2105 West 95th Street from 12 to 3. You know, principals that want to get their athletic directors, their deans at this professional development, they can definitely reach out to us. And, you know, we were sitting back as a team and as a company, and I was the dean at Orr for 5 years back when Orr first started going downstate. And as I was the coach for Malcolm X, I was also the consultant for Lou at Orr, and a lot of people don't know that when they first went downstate. And so me being a dean, I was a dean at alternative school for 10 years. And so my experience as a dean, but also as an assistant athletic director, those are the two individuals that deal with almost majority of the students in any school, because the athletic directors have to deal with all the athletes and the deans have to deal with the plethora of students. And in today's climate, if those individuals don't know how to identify a person's behavioral preference, how these individuals communicate, it's no way that they can then teach them how to better communicate, how to notice their triggers, how to stay encouraged. The same way that coaches have to understand, you can't talk to every player the same way. The same way that you said, like, Dan was hard on Reese, but you was the one in the gym with him. Like, it had to be that yin yang. And if you,
for sure, and when I say Dan never cut a play. That was the craziest thing to me. I mean, you got a gym full of people, and only the strong survive. And that's one of the first things that I learned, because before, when you're younger, you think it's all about talent.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm better than he is. How come I'm not playing? Well, all right. Well, there's another aspect to that thing. I mean, who can follow instructions?
Yep.
Who can persevere? Who can deal with certain temperaments? I mean, when it gets tough, does your game go in the tank, or when it gets tough, do you know how to grit and grind?
Absolutely.
There's a lot of lessons that you learn. Carbell, man, it's been a blast. I'm gonna have to have you on again.
Yes, sir.
To do this, man, because like I said, you got so many different, tentacles to your success and things. I want to keep more in contact, because right now, in this desperate age that we're living in, we need, and I like that transitional state where you are in, because like you said, you still got your tentacles, with us, where we touch you, but at the same time, like I said, you can reach and touch some of these young people that speak their language, man, because it's unbeknownst to me, man. I give all the credit for people that you can reach, man, because they speak a different language, man. And so repeat a little bit about that info and let us know about this February language, because I think it's imperative that people hear this and listen. I know. One thing I caught about, I live in Beverly, so I would have a hard time finding that place.
Yeah.
But anyway,
So
but give us a little the info on that again.
Yes, sir. So the title of the professional development workshop is called Leadership Unleashed: Empowering Athletic Directors and Deans through SEL for Enhanced Productivity. Again, helping them to be able to produce more and help the students produce more. February 9th from 12 to 3 at Baracco's Pizza, 2105 West 95th Street. Registration fee is $97 per dean or AD that comes. We actually have an 8-week winter development league. Again, everything that we do is about teaching, developing. And so we have a 8-week winter development league at the Southland Center. That's in Linwood. And that's on January 29th to March 22nd. And as always, they can pick up any copy of my book. So my last book, what you mentioned, Clyde, is the world's first affirmation workbook for basketball players. And again, talking to their mental, as you said, the players going to cut themselves because they're not mentally tough. And if they can be mentally tough on the court, they can be mentally tough in life. And so these are things that we help them to, use these transformative skills. And so they can find out more about my books, my winter program as well. If they want to, hire me, book me for speaking engagements, all of that can be found at carvelbailey.com, Clyde, Carvel Bailey, Karvell Bailey, Bailey, carvelbailey.com. And before I go, Clyde, I want to mention this, man. I always tell people, coming up, Marcus Liberty is my all-time favorite high school basketball player. And I was on Liv's show about a year ago, and I had asked him, do he remember this? So back in 1987, I was in 7th grade, Clyde, and I was in art class, and I picked up the Sun-Times. And the Sun-Times had a picture of Marcus Liberty on it. And at the bottom of the caption, the picture said, the name on Marcus Liberty's jersey also applies to him.
There you go.
I was hooked.
There you go. Hey, King.
King, baby.
I like another road jack. Hey, all right, man. We got a roll, Carl, but I'll be in touch because I got to have you back, man. You're outstanding, man. And like I said, my phone people already were texting me throughout the conversation, said get him back. Hey, so we got a roll. I'll be talking to you, and it's been a pleasure, sharing these things with our listening audience at WVON. So thank you so very much.
Yes, sir, Clyde. Thank you so much for having me. All right.
That's been great.
Yes, sir.
All right. Very, very
All right, y'all. Got to go to bed now. Burn the midnight oil. How y'all like it? I don't know if you was able to hear, but this is Hall of Fame sports writer, Chicago. Hall of Fame sports writer. What a wonderful opportunity. Not sure who here, but hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned some things. Tomorrow, Lunch and Learn. Don't miss it. 12 p.m. Lunch and Learn. We're going to talk about the 10 things that I found that I noticed over the weekend, calling these games, announcing these games, 10 things that athletes need to be more successful. All right, y'all. I'll holla a little bit later. Peace.